good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to a very, very special live and first ever, which may be a kind of regular series, Soul Sister Sunday Live with Lady D on Oracle of Delphi. I wanted to welcome back to the channel. She's kind of had a little break because she's rebranded her channel and she's you know, had a life and things going on. So I wanted to welcome back AsrIa because we haven't seen her on this channel in a few months. So welcome back to Miss AsrIa. And I wanted to welcome for the first time ever on this channel, though we have done other shows together on other channels, Peyton Lyons Gray and Kent Sterling.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much, ladies, for being here. We're going to let a few more of, let's say, Soul Tribe members in the chat come on. Sometimes I'm being very much shadow banned because of who I am. So sometimes people don't always get the notification. So it will take a little people to find us and know that I'm on. And this is not your regular time. So if you don't catch us live, you catch the replay. Nonetheless, we decided to do this show because we felt it is very, very important. So many of us that are light workers, and if you work with light, if you're awake, if you are a child of God, if you are psychic, if you aren't a light worker or on Team God and you're not a demon and you're not demonic, in your life, you have been attacked. It doesn't matter how powerful you are, how godly you are. You do your protection prayers, you have been attacked. In this life, we are getting attacked left and right. And the thing is that many of us don't even know we're getting attacked. We think it's just bad luck. We think it's just things happen. We think that it's just normal everyday things, but many aspects in our life are demonic attacks and spirit and demonic attachments. So I thought that a show like this is imperative because very recently, I'm not going to go into the particulars, but the last there's been things that have gone on firsthand. I will say firsthand, I've had firsthand knowledge at how powerful Peyton and Kate are in removing attachments or removing entities, and their work is amazing. And we are in the tail end of an ascension, and the demonic is dying, the our earth is vibrating, and we're getting ready to go to the fifth dimension. And because the dark entities and the dark ones, they're on their last legs and they're taking their last breaths, they are fighting for their survival. And a ferocious beast is going to fight till its end. It's not going to roll over and die. It's going to go kicking and screaming and fighting till its death. And because the astral world and our world is now this, like, it's collapsed, and there's basically the veil is very, very thin. We are big smorgasbord to them, and our light is shining, and we are shining bright, and they're coming after us. So we as light workers, we in the spiritual community, I think it's imperative that we know when we are being attacked, the signs, how to protect ourselves, and how to fight it. And at some point, there might be such a spiritual attack that you might have to call in demon slayers like Kate and light workers like Peyton, as well as AsrIa. So these three women are so powerful, and they have impacted my life in such a powerful way. So first and foremost, AsrIa, Kate, and Peyton, thank you so much for all you've done for me, and thank you for being in my life. I don't think it's a coincidence that we all just met very recently, and we all have a kinship, and we're all here together. So without further ado, I'm going to go to my soul sister AsrIa, because she's on my right. AsrIa, reintroduce yourself to the Soul Tribe, and I want you to speak about why you feel a show like this is important, and just whatever you want to say. Take it away, honey.
Thank you so much. And yeah, what an introduction. Hi everyone, I'm AsrIa, and as I say, I can only just say with what Dee was just saying there, that the wonderful words with myself and Kate and Peyton, but you are also an amazing and a strong light here, honey. So lots of love to you too. As for myself, hi everyone. I said, yeah, I have taken a little bit of a break, but definitely back on full steam now. I said I have been working with energies and spirits since I can remember, probably since the age of 5 and upwards. So there's certain things in the world to me that has always seemed normal. I said the work that I've been doing over the past few years is really kind of working with frequency and working with energies and working certainly in those higher chakra areas, the soul chakras, etc., looking at more along the lines of your star beings, the star beings that you're connected with, and the star beings that can actually start bringing and helping with those vibrations and frequencies. And I do that in such a way, but that's not really where we're going with this today. So I just wanted to bring it back a little bit as to why, as Dee said earlier, why this is really, really important is that the more we as a collective, but also as an individual, heighten our own frequency and our own vibrations, opening up, waking up, noticing and questioning not only things within ourselves, but things around us. So it's feeling within you, that feels a bit right. That feels a bit wrong. So-and-so told me this, so-and-so told me that. But it really does come down to your own intuition, your own energy, and being more aware of what's around you, the seen and the unseen. Because it's the I'm getting all tingly already. It's the I'm talking for 2 minutes and they've already jumped in. There we go. So it's the seen and it's the unseen. And I think with all of us, we have all had our own experiences, from the little flickers that you get within your energy field to having people in our lives that I can certainly say that have been full demonic possessions and so on. So within our own experiences, it's sharing those, it's passing on the knowledge. As Dee said, if there is a way in which you just pick up on maybe 1 or 2 bits of information, or 1 or 2 people pick up on 1 or 2 bits of information that will help them in your everyday life in regards to your own protection, how you're bringing that in. Because some people say, I done my protection last week, I'm fine. It's that spiritual hygiene. It's getting into those rhythms. It's making sure that you're pulling those your toroidal field in, so that you close those holes, you close those wounds, because there's certain ways in which they get in. But anyway, I think I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here, as usual. But
it's all good, honey.
Again,
we all do.
It's really looking at what are the different ways, what are the different things to look out for, because it's not one glove fits all. And I think all the amazing ladies here can say that. Even I was completely fooled about a day or 2 ago. I was like, I thought everything was fine, and whoop, there we go. So it's just sharing the knowledge, the wisdom of all of our experiences collectively as well, because I think between a lot of us, we've gone through quite a bit, seen what we've seen, experienced what we've experienced, and as I said, it's just being able to pass on that knowledge, because knowledge is power at the end of the day. And whether you remember things consciously or subconsciously, but the most important thing is, how does it feel for me? Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful, AsrIa. Kate, I'm going to get to you, my soul sister, and welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you.
Thank
She
you.
is a real life demon slayer hunter. That's right, folks. She is a beautiful, kind woman, but don't you mess with her. If you have horns, you better run.
I love that so much. That's
Well,
excellent.
So Kate, why do you think a show like this is so necessary, and why do you think people need to know this, and why we're under attack so much now in this juncture in our lives?
I think it's exactly what you're saying. We're heading towards ascension and we're getting there. Also, I noticed that, let's say this year, some of the top demons are gone now. And what I'm seeing people, or what I'm seeing happening is when somebody wants to summon a demon, they're just basically opening like a portal to hell and letting a whole bunch of beings attack a person. And so it's like having a football team of demons, just, you know what I mean? Just dragging people down or whatever. So I'm seeing more of them with less, not the big overall ones anymore, but I'm seeing a lot of portals being opened by certain people. Portals in, like I just saw 3 portals in Qatar be opened and close that. And those are like battlefield. Those are epic battlefields. Peyton will tell you that. Peyton and I work together every week, working on these kind of things, because it's really beautiful to have a second person, especially when you're dealing with, an army of things. We have an army of light that can handle that, just like hands down handle that. But I think it's helpful to know that. The other thing I'm thinking is that for such a long time, healers have worked in an isolated way. Like we haven't really had a lot of friends, or we felt like there's competition or whatever. And so, and that's a great strategy. Let's divide everybody. Let's divide the light, and let's have them working alone in isolation. And then when you're not talking, you're not finding out what the other person is experiencing, but then you're also not coming together like in a group to protect each other. And so for me, it was like, well, forget that. We need to be protecting each other, and we need to be offering, like for Peyton and I, offering the services and then training others too. The light's way more powerful than the dark. I'm just going to say that. It looks like the dark is throwing everything at us. So, yeah.
Beautiful. And I can attest firsthand that you and Peyton, you've got some powerful, you are forces to be reckoned with.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. I'm going to go to Miss Peyton. Miss Peyton, let me see. Oh, sorry. It would be nice if here we go. And then Miss Peyton, I think this is your first time on my show, so welcome, and thank you for all the work you've done with me. And same with you. She's a beautiful light worker, but don't you mess with her. She can, if you're a demon, she's done phenomenal work. She has access to the Akashic records. She does a lot of light work and psychic. So welcome, Peyton. And also, why do you think this is such an important topic, and why do you think we as light workers are being such attacked now?
Thank you, Lady D, for having me. And it's really great to be on the panel with AsrIa and Kate as well. And as Kate said, we team up every week. We have something going on. So it's really good to have Kate here with me today. With regards to all that's going on, other than the really big stuff and the dramatic changes of the planet and the ascension and all those different things, we get a lot of energy from envy. People just literally are jealous of you, and that jealousy in itself can become a big ball of tension that could be like a dagger that hits you like a spell. Now, it's an evil thought of mind, and I think we're in this very sort of narcissistic mindset where everyone is to each their own. Everyone's fighting their own little thing and to be the best and to be in the limelight, that everyone's lost their courtesy for each other and their respect or their humanity. They see you fall in the streets and they rather pull out their mobile phone and film it instead of come and lend you a helping hand. So that energy is a mental hive mind, toxic energy that's going on across the globe that needs to be addressed. So it's not just the demons coming in and the big demons and the big stuff. It's people need to get back to their humanity. They've lost it along the way with their narcissistic attention that they're seeking on social media. So that's one of the things that I think if we start really calling that behavior out, we can see a shift. Because as you rightfully know, in the psychic community, because other people have abilities as well, they're really quick to draw their weapon. And that's not good. They've lost any idea of backlash or consequence or even empathy for the person that they're doing this against. So I think it's time to call a lot of the nonsense out and be brave and stand against it and say, no, we're not having that. We already have the bigger stuff to deal with, but these little things we're also not tolerating as well. So that's what I think about that.
Beautiful. You know, that what you said is so spot on in this spiritual community. So many people are on here and we want to be movie stars and celebrities instead of doing the work, and that's not it is. And what you said about the humanity, and if anything will shine a light on that, just look about the recent death of Charlie Kirk and some of the atrocious, horrendous things that people have said about him online just because they don't agree with him. We have lost our humanity. We are so right. We're so obsessed with this. I mean, look at the Ukrainian girl. She was stabbed, you know, the Ukrainian girl. People were too busy on their phones. If they weren't on their phones, they might have been able to help her. Whether or not you think it's real or psyop, it doesn't matter. It's true. We have lost our humanity. And that is probably how dark gets in. It's like it starts off as little cracks and then it becomes fissures, right? Yeah.
Yes.
AsrIa, I'm going to go to you, my dear.
Mhm.
So I believe, well, I know firsthand, that especially with the work that I do, my clients, that so many people are being attacked when they have no idea. They think it's just they're sick or they have mental illness or, you know, it's just bad luck. But what I've learned, and correct me if I'm wrong, attacks can come in all ways. It could be you not feeling good, feeling tired, depression, anxiety, as Peyton said, jealousy, envy, feelings of low self-worth, or just accidents like falling down. So can you tell us about your maybe whatever you feel comfortable enough sharing personally or your work with your clients? What are the ways and we're being attacked where we're unsuspecting? We just have no idea.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really great question and way to put it. I mean, I think, and the ladies will say this as well. We could be talking for the next 2 days, 3 days, in regards to the amount of ways, and this is why it is really important to really kind of be self-aware. What is going on within yourself? Because as much as we're looking at, what's going on around us, as you were saying, I mean, with me, I know a few months ago, it was my energy levels were really low, eating, drinking, sleeping. So already on a physical level, it was my energies were already low. Be aware of your emotions, your emotional states. Remember, a lot of this is about frequency and about vibration, and they'll pick up on that. It's kind of like, oh, let's like float around and oh, let's see. Whoa, as Peyton said, envy, ego, fear. Where is it? Oh, yeah, let's go with that one. So again, what state are you in? Everyone has a down date now and then. I'm not saying that that's not possible. But if it's a continued state, so a continued state of fear, a continued state of low, as in low vibe, you always attract. So again, if you're at a low vibe, what are you going to attract? Low vibe. So it's kind of sitting in that place of gratitude and love, because then that will already heighten those vibrations as well. So it's how you're feeling and what state you're in. Also, another thing as well is, where have you been? What atmosphere have you been in? I mean, sometimes a lot of it is like shopping malls or shopping centers, something like that, because you've got energies coming from all over the place. Sometimes if you've been on a walk and you might have walked through a sacred area, possibly. Again, who has been around you? Because you might think, oh, yeah, I know Sue down the road. She's fine. Never know. Sue may have been had something with her that she's then passed on. It's like, oh, because they can jump from one to another. So, and that's why we always bring it back to self. How are you? being aware, oh yeah, actually, no, I haven't been feeling too great as of late. Where does that come from? Is it in here? Because again, we've got all our different bodies, haven't we? We've got our mental, we've got our etheric, we've got our physical. So we've got so many layers to look after. And sometimes we can't always look after all at the same time. It's a lot of work. We are very, very much multi-dimensional beings. And this is, I think, one of the main things that we're really, really learning. And it's absolutely fascinating, some of the research that's coming out, especially like in quantum physics and things like that, around how we can actually utilize some of the energies and frequencies within ourselves. So if we do feel something, we can always physically push it away. But maybe that's coming on to a bit later. But my main thing is really being aware of you. If you think, oh, hold on, my heart's going, for me, oh, heart's going a little bit too quick. Do what I need to do, push it away. There we go. Because again, just being aware of our voices, being aware of the language that we're using. Because if sometimes you're using language that is quite light and all of a sudden you're using maybe not very nice language and it's a little bit depressive, again, something else to be aware of. But as I said, we can probably be here all day with that. But those have been my points for now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Kate, same question. Why, how do people, what's your interpretation, or what would you tell the Soul Tribe as to how they can tell if they're being spiritually attacked? And especially because, like I said, most of us are unsuspecting.
Yeah. AsrIa, what you said was beautiful and perfect. That's the one piece of advice I would give to people would be spend time with your own energies. Know who you are physically, feel outwards to your other energy fields, the emotional, the spiritual, the mental bodies, not in that order, but you know what I'm saying? Feel that and get to know yourself. You'll begin to know and understand then, am I just tired and I need a break? Or is there an energy here that doesn't feel right? You'll get really fine-tuned with that. On a really specific note, what I want to say is that demons will typically, almost always, go for the adrenals, and they'll go for it fast, because what they'll want to do is they want to make you really tired, like fast. So you'll feel like suddenly, like overnight, I got this chronic fatigue. I can't get out of bed. Maybe you feel like you have the flu. That to me is an indicator, hey, there's a demon that is attached to you, and because they'll go for the adrenals oftentimes and literally suck the energy out of the adrenals. If it's more of an attack, let's say like from somebody who's doing curses and hexes and spells, they tend to go for the emotional, mental body. They want to bring that down on a person. So the person, because they're almost like, it's that energy of wanting to make somebody feel crazy. Let's hit them where they live. Let's hit them with the mental, the emotional primarily. So that's something to be aware of too. Let's say, all of a sudden you're not feeling right, or you have a lot of anxiety or something like that. That's a good indicator that would be, I'm going to say, a witch or somebody who is practicing some kind of magic. There's so much I could say about it, but those are just my 2 pointers.
That's beautiful. Peyton, same question, my love. How would someone know that they're not under attack? That they're under attack.
Yes, this is a brilliant question, because a lot of people overlook certain signs because it just seems, like a bad day or medical or, the flu or something. But there's a good old adage, and it applies: know thyself. So you see, when you know yourself, it doesn't really mean just your physical body. It's your emotional self, as well as your mental self, and also your connection with your higher self. So when you know thyself, anything that isn't of thyself that presents, you could think, oh, something's wrong there. That's not quite right. And you can now look into it in a different way and you won't overlook it. So this is not to be paranoid, however, but once you know and you understand yourself, you can then begin to also realize when your thoughts are not your own, because you can have infiltrated thoughts coming through from tricksters posing as relatives, posing as saints, etc. And your higher self is like your first go-to guide. That's you. You came in with your own guide, your own package. And a lot of people overlook that first best friend, and they seek another best friend outside of themselves, either in spirituality or as a human being. But once you become connected to that higher self, and I can also talk about how I help people to recognize what their higher self is and how to really get connected, you really, really can see all the fake stuff coming. And it's so glaring that you begin to wonder, well, how isn't everyone else observing this as well? And if you feel a shift within yourself and you just one day you have a cloudy head or a kind of queasy feeling in the stomach, it's not because you're having indigestion. You will instinctively realize, oh, that's not indigestion. Something is afoot, and you can look into it and then deal with it. But what tends to happen is people think it might be indigestion, or that they're tired is why they have a foggy head, or it's their time of the month or something like that. And they just let it pass. And then it just keeps building up and building up and building up, and it gains momentum. So the little thing you could have recognized early turns into a much bigger deal in a few months' time. And then you're thinking, oh my God, you're having dark thoughts about yourself as well, and your energy is completely diminished, and you're also being attacked in your sleep. Because once you're, like AsrIa rightfully said earlier, when your frequencies are low, it's like a floodgate to invite a bunch of other low entities to join you and harass you. And because you're in such a low frequency, you don't even have the strength to fight them off properly. And it could be really, really scary, because it's a little bit of a weird dream that you might have. But they really feed on your energy, and they don't discriminate. They don't care if you have a little bit of energy or if you have a whole lot of energy. They want that energy, and they're going to take it as best as they can. So knowing thyself is one of the ways you can really, really begin to suss out things. And as you train yourself to know thyself, you begin to recognize things quicker. And it's the quicker you could now go and start clearing it up and getting help if you need to.
I was on mute. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, everything the three of you just said, is just nuggets of gold, and so wonderful to hear and so important. Um, I've noticed in my work, especially lately, and what you just said, Peyton, and first of all, knowing yourself, absolutely. And you have to be willing to take your time to be by yourself. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of us are being isolated, because we've been so addicted and so programmed to get our worth and from other people, and our love and attention from other people. And now's our time to really get connected with our higher selves, which are connecting to our divine. But I love the way you said, how do you feel? Like, if you're feeling wonderful, and then someone that you have an interaction with someone, and then after you talk to them, you just feel shitty, or you feel like you want to go to bed, or you feel confused. For me, and, even though I've been a psychic and intuitive and an open channel to the divine for many years, all of this is still new. I'm still learning. So, another thing, too, is that we can't ever think that we know it all, because none of us do. And that's why it's so powerful for us to come together as a group, because there's going to be things that AsrIa knows, and certain things that she has like a little bit more of a talent for and expertise, and you, Peyton, and you, Kate. And when we come together as a group, we help each other, we build, we learn, and we fill in the gaps, and we kind of put the pieces together in this puzzle, because we have this puzzle in front of us, and no one really knows what it's supposed to look like. We have ideas, but when we come together without ego, without having to be, oh, it's all about me, as a group, how powerful we are. And then as we lift each other up as a group, we lift up ourselves individually. And when have I noticed how someone around me is not good is how I feel. How I feel. So let's talk about more about that, AsrIa. If you can, how can somebody know, AsrIa, if somebody is attacking them? And I will preface this: some people have dark entities and attachments working through them to get to you, and they might not even know it. So can you give us a little information about your experience personally and professionally, AsrIa? You're on mute, honey.
Sorry. Yeah. So I can't wait for Peyton and Kate's point on this as well. But for me, as I was saying before, for years I was like, no, if it's going to be an attack or an entity around, it's this feeling and it's that feeling. Not always. So I mean, recently, I think what Peyton just said there, especially around the stomach, around the solar plexus, is key, because there are certain points, and I've learned about one or two recently, which I might come into in a second. But the solar plexus is definitely, for me, kind of like that big entry point. So again, if you it's kind of like getting a bit of a knock on the door. If that's starting to feel a bit kind of like a crampy or something like that, and you think, no, I'm fine. Again, that's an area to kind of look at. Another thing for me is there are certain bits on my back and things like that. But again, everybody's different. Everybody is different, because so often I hear clients say, well, she does it that way, so why doesn't it happen for me this way? Because we are all unique and individual. So our frequency is different, our vibrations are different. But certainly one of the biggest ones that I hear so many people say, and how Peyton was saying as well, is around kind of like that whole solar plexus area. Again, if you feel like different, like whether like hot or cold, 9 times out of 10, it's more of the cold. When you think, oh no, it's normally really warm in here, and then all of a sudden, but again, I'm going to sound like a broken record by the end of this program, because again, it always comes back to the same. Is how you feel. And again, it's that spiritual hygiene. It's, oh, just because you've done kind of like your protections yesterday doesn't mean you don't have to do them today. Everyone said, oh no, I done a spell like 2 weeks ago, I'm fine. No. Yeah, because you're all in kind of a different time. You're in a different energy. You've probably had a bath, had a shower, spoken to your neighbor, spoken to your mom, You've spoken, you've changed here, you've gone to the supermarket. You can see where this is going. So it's kind of like, it's having those when you get up in the morning, doing what you need to do before you go to bed, etc. So you know, that is how I feel. That is how I'm standing. But certainly knowing the air around you, knowing around that solar plexus, certainly. Yeah, there's probably a few more that I can go into, but to me, as a starter for 10, would be my biggest piece of advice.
See, I did the same thing. I always forget to take myself off mute.
But
Peyton, since you're right next to there, I'm going to put you to the left, and same question. What say you, my dear?
Do me a favor, honey. Repeat the question again so I can get it fresh again, because AsrIa
Okay.
had so much brilliant information. I just went straight into listening to what she was saying.
Oh, I do it all the time too. And when you're getting downloads too, it's like you forget your name. How would somebody what do you say, AsrIa? I'm sorry, honey.
I said I was just mumbling off on one.
No, you won't. It was all
Okay.
valuable.
Oh,
All valuable.
how would you know if somebody around you is attacking you? And especially because I've noticed that this is really big in our community. How do you know if the dark is working through you? If somebody's getting spiritually attacked and they have attachments that are working to get to you through them without them knowing. You know what I mean?
Yes, you can have dreams. So your instinct usually kicks in via your dream state, because that's when you have no inhibitions, no critical thought. You're just laying in bed, getting rest, and it comes subconsciously into the mind. Sometimes you get what's called a straight dream, where you see the exact person who's attacking you, not the middle person, but the exact person who's attacking you. Or you can have a scenario like a movie, because you know what dreams are like, but it's really trying to give you some information. And once you understand the significance of the dream, you then begin to think when you wake up, when you hold on to the dream, because you know when you wake up, you tend to forget. So if you ponder upon the dream, you really begin to figure it out. So that's one way that it naturally happens. Another way is by when you're awake, you get an instant gut feeling. But in that instant gut feeling, you now talk yourself off of it. You know, you talk yourself out of that gut feeling that you had, and you're like, oh, what am I thinking? Oh, no, of course, that person will never do that. But your gut instinct, which is probably your higher self kicking in and telling you, no, that's not a good person to be around. Be careful around them. And you're like, oh, but she's lovely. She's so lovely. But behind closed doors, that person has daggers in your back. So that's another thing we all have to get back to, engaging and initiating our instincts and our gut feelings and not shut them down. They're there for a reason. And this is not to be paranoid. This is our navigation system that's built into us. So, you know, when you're walking down the street, you're getting back to your car from Tesco, let's say, and then something just tells you, look down, and you look down just in time to avoid stepping into the puddle of water. That's the instincts we all have to get back to. That instant, immediate reaction to when you get the information, you accept it and you realize what it's telling you, and you then take the correct action thereafter. It's not good to have people around you when you do suspect them as well, because it's all good to know, but also it's really bad to keep the person around, because now you've given them access to you willingly, and that's consent. So the more awful things that they're doing to you and sending to you, just by you not wanting to rock the boat or cut ties, you're literally giving consent to it all. So sometimes you just have to cut ties and move on, cut your losses. You don't have to have a quarrel. You don't have to make a fuss. You just remove yourself from the situation and take precautions, protect yourself, and say, you know what, some people are temporary and then some people are forever, but that person might have been a temporary person, so I'm all right with that.
Wonderful. So informative. Kate, same question. How can you tell if someone around you is attacking you, whether they are cognizant of it or not?
Usually your emotional state afterwards. What you'll find is certain people will trigger certain things. Okay. So one person for you, after you leave the time with them or leave the room from them, you'll feel so frustrated and so angry, and it's not typical for you, but that person just does something to you. That's telling me that that person has a demon that's actually creating that and spurring that on in you so they can have power over you. Because certain people take on certain demons in order to get certain things. So it could be they want money. It could be they want power. It could be they want to be, I don't know, head dog of something. Do you know what I'm saying? It could be any number of things. So you'll find that you'll feel something out of the ordinary that you normally don't feel, and it's really exaggerated. So the top ones for me would be, and what I hear from people would be anxiety that just comes out of nowhere when you're talking to somebody. It could be the same thing. Maybe you're talking to your sister. Every time you have this feeling of anxiety, you can't explain it. That's because that's what her little attachment is wanting you to feel. It could be doubt. Oh God, I'm doubting my life. I don't know if I should do that. Like suddenly you start doubting yourself and everything about you, and why am I even alive, and why, and it goes in, that can take you to even depression. What am I doing? Why am I even doing this work? That kind of thing. That's the goal of this demon, is to shut you down from that. The other thing would be anger, and then always a loss of connection. If you look at it, you've got a loss of connection to who you are and to the divine at that moment when they're creating those energies for you. And that's by design. These little critters want this. They don't want you connected because you're standing in your power. The person in front of you that's presenting as one thing, that has a demon attached to them, they don't want you to stand in your power either, because they want it. And it's usually about power.
Wow. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Now, what about, let's say, situations when you have somebody that has an attachment in your family and you love them, and it's not like you can, you love your mother, for instance. I grew up with a very narcissistic mother, and she's done her work, but sometimes you can't, you're growing up, like when let's say if you're 14 or 15 and you have to deal with a mother, or you have a boss, or these people, that situations where you can't cut them out of your life, especially with work. It's not like you can, not talk to them. So what if you have a supervisor or someone that you work with that has an attachment? How do you protect yourself, AsrIa, when you have to deal with these people on a daily basis and you can't separate from them?
Oh, that is a really, really good question. I think a lot of it, if you can't distance yourself physically for whatever reason, is, as we've been saying, it is around the protection. And it's everything from your light bubbles, it's using various herbs and so on and so forth. But it's also around, because even if they are on the phone to them, same thing, can still get through. If you're doing Zoom calls, same thing. So people say, oh, I work from home, so they're over there, it's fine. The one piece of advice I say, it doesn't matter whether it's you're physically with the person, or it might just be kind of like, I don't know. I certainly had it years ago with my ex-mother-in-law. Lived miles away, but the phone call, that was always the link. So there are certain protection symbols and that you can put on your phones. But again, we're talking about our own energetic field. Also, we can also kind of really start looking at what and who we want in our lives. Again, I think looking at it at a relationship by relationship perspective maybe would be a really good thing, because I think somebody at work as opposed to like a family member, and again the ages, but if it's somebody that you can't at that time, is start working with your higher self, maybe having a look at Akashic records, which I'd really like Peyton's point of view on. But it's kind of like, how can I learn these lessons to move away and move them away? Why do I have to be around this person? But certainly protection, location, and there is another thing, but it's not coming to my mind, so I might leave it to these ladies. But really, again, it comes back to how are they making me feel? Having your own protections. If you feel that I'm really tired, don't go near them. Don't have that phone call. Being aware of, how is my energy today? Do I actually feel as though I'm in my sort of full power, if you like? Therefore, I know that I've got my protection, and therefore I can go and deal with this person. I don't know what the ladies' thoughts are on this, but certainly we can look at it even on a higher plane of soul level, soul contracts, things like that as well, as to how can we then start distancing ourselves from these individuals. Because at certain ages, as you said, if you're like 14, 15, it might be a bit tricky, but certainly from a work or a friend or a colleague would be very different. But I think as long as there is that protection there, and the one thing I would say with that is your intention. Is no point going, oh yeah, I've got my white bubble, I'm fine. Doesn't work that way. So it's like when you use your various crystals, it's setting the intention. It's really connecting up to your guides. It's connecting up to your higher self and really sitting within that power as well. So everyone said, oh yeah, I've got these crystals and I've put them all around my house, but I haven't touched them in 2 months. Don't think they're going to be doing much for you. Hate to say it. But yeah, I think that would be would really be my advice. But we really need to kind of have a look at it on like relationship basis. I hope that helps.
It does tremendously. First, I just want to give a shout out from Jill from the UK. Thank you so much for your super thanks. I really, really appreciate you. And well done for all those across the pond. I have to say, even though the lamestream media is not saying it, I'm so proud of you all for you taking back your country. Love you. Love you. Love you. We stand with you, UK. We stand with you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Anyone who's from the UK, especially these people, Kate is US, but these UK women and Tia Bean in the chat know I have a special fondness for the UK. It's my second home. So, yeah. All right. Miss Kate, since you are next, it's like the Brady Bunch here. I should have someone in the middle. Tia Bean, when you join us one time, you can be Alice in the middle.
Yeah, you can.
Kate, how do you, same question, how, if you have to work with someone, like for instance, I spent many years as an executive assistant, and there's so many, let's say, narcissists and tons of demonic attachments. So if somebody has to deal with asshole bosses and ridiculous people at work, what do they do? How do they protect themselves?
First of all, okay, I love what AsrIa said. You've got to keep your physical health up. You've got to keep your energy body strong. Use your protections, whatever works for you. The prayer, calling in your other spiritual beings, crystals, all of that works. What also works is to prepare for when you're talking to that person, because you can guarantee the person you're dealing with is probably a narcissist. And I'm going to say something about narcissists. Every single narcissist on this planet has at least one demon attached to them that they use for power. There's usually more than that. That one demon usually controls everything, and there'll be a lot more underneath. What they do is they will use those to attack you. What they'll do also is attach cords to you, and it's going to be in the solar plexus for one thing, because they're going to try, like you said, AsrIa, they're going to try to bring down your willpower, and that's one way to do it. They're also going to attach to probably your adrenals, because they want to tire you out, and then, you know what I mean? It's like bullying you. You know, the adrenals and the solar plexus. The other thing that you can do, so you'd actively know, hey, they're going to reach out to me and start interfering with my energy. You can do protections and be prepared for that. The most powerful stance is to go in knowing that they have a demon there and actually confronting it while they're there in front of you. You can develop your sense of seeing it and understanding it or feeling it or sensing it. And you're saying in your mind, you effing back off. Do not touch me. You are not allowed. That I'm honest to God, that works. And you do it over and over and over. And what you'll say to them is, you come near me and I will pull you off of that person. No mercy, you're gone. And I'm telling you why you have the ability to do that. Because when you ask the divine, and Peyton and I always ask the divine first before anything is removed. We ask what it is. Can we remove it? Or is there anything we need to know before moving it? Does a person need to know anything? Or can it be removed? The divine is, I'm telling you, the divine is calling in favor of every person of light and saying, yes, you can. And there's rules about that with the narcissist. It's a special kind of category. But threatening the demon really will back off, because more than anything, they want the power of being attached to that person. Does that sound fair, Peyton? I'm trying not to say too much, but you can, and that's very empowering to say, back off, MFer. You have no right here. Now they might still touch you, they might still try to, because that's how they are. Then you shift your energy. You know what I mean? You restore your energy field, and then you get your strength back, and you stand and face it. At least that's I had really good luck with that, and so have people that I've worked with. Once you get to the other end of the healing from, let's say, from the narcissism, which takes a bit of time because they are very abusive to the people they're with. So I could go on, but that's what I'll say for now.
First of all, you can swear on my channel. You know me, I'm a
Okay.
potty mouth, so don't hold back.
I didn't know if I could say the F, and there it was, because that's how I feel about them.
If you couldn't say F on YouTube, I would have been booted out a long time ago.
Okay.
It's like one of my favorite words, sorry. Peyton, my dear, same question. How do you deal with people that you have to be around when they're attacking you, whether knowing or unknowingly?
That's really a good question, because it's a good follow-up from the question before. So it is a tricky environment, especially when it's not your home circle is quite difficult, but when it's attached to your income, it's 10 times worse because of your responsibilities, and you're thinking, I can't just pick up and leave this job. It's not that easy. There's a lot of things you can do to protect your energy body, yes, and keep your mental and physical health strong. But sometimes it just still feels like coming into a minefield every day, dealing with all this toxic energy left, right, and center. Now, this is where I always say your higher self, your first point of contact for guide, is really, really good. When you begin to be able to ask it to go before you, or to make sure that when you arrive, you have a peaceful day, or to keep that person away from you, or if they have to make contact with you, it must be as minimum as possible and as pleasant as possible. You can do that. So get to know that higher self, that teammate you've come into this incarnation with, that is you, that has your best interests. Other guides may come and go, but the one you're born into this incarnation with has your best interest at heart all the time, no ulterior motive. Literally make the connection with your higher self and ask it to clear the path so you can walk right through. You could even mimic those words. You're driving down the highway and you're on your way to work. You're like, oh God, it already knows what you're thinking, but you have to give it the permission to work on your behalf. Engage that, empower that. The more you empower that higher self, you'll begin to think, oh, wow, why didn't I think of this before? Why wasn't I doing this before? Why didn't anyone tell me? That's how you're going to begin to feel. So that's one thing you can employ, as well as all your spiritual hygienes that you physically do. You take your salt baths, or you energize your crystals, you speak to them, and because that gives you confidence and a tangible thing to latch your intention onto. But I always go for that ultimate guide, which is your higher self, your best friend, your biggest fan, your first mate, everything. Engage with that higher self. Trust me, your higher self has probably spent 40, 50 years trying to get you to acknowledge it. And if it's so happy to have a little job, it's going to go in there and do a brilliant job.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. I love that. So let's talk about, we are going to talk about how to protect yourself and how to fight them off. And when you need the help of the Demon Slayer team. let's I think the best thing to go to next would be, AsrIa, if you have a couple of examples, and whether or not it's a client or personal, whatever you like, can you give people that are watching some examples of psychic attacks or spiritual attacks or demonic attacks in which people didn't know they were attacked and it turned out to be attacked? Like different scenarios where you were surprised, or the person was surprised, because I have a feeling that I pretty much know that they can do anything, and there's many areas where we would have no idea that they're attacking us. So if you can give some examples where someone or you or somebody else was being attacked and they thought it was something else, but it turned out to be this. Because I would just want to give examples so people have some kind of have like a foundation as to like what to look for, if you will.
Yeah, no, I there was one prime example that really springs to mind of a client of mine in, I think it's like Australia, where there was a run of bad luck, but I mean, and every single time it was getting worse, but in little bits, and it was over kind of like a 2 or 3 year period. Oh yeah, definitely right. In over a 2 or 3 year period. And it was also then starting to affect, said, their children. I mean, their children were in their teens and 20s. But it was kind of like, and they couldn't quite put their finger on what it was, and they tried everything. I mean, and then it was kind of like there was something, and they were like, there must be, they had no idea. And that's when they were coming to me and maybe one or two other people. And apparently the other two people were like, no, you're fine. It's nothing. But then as soon as I could see this, it's all like a hologram, like standing behind them. It was a very shimmery with a black outline. And I just said, look, I just said that we will do what we're going to do. And we had the conversation. But I said, before we go any further, I am going to give you Kate's number. Because I said, this is beyond me. This is beyond you. And they knew it, but they didn't really know what to do or what to. They said, I've done salt bars. I've done this. And they said, but it's affecting my family. I said, that's why they were starting to reach out, and said it was even to the point where like their laptop wasn't working, so they couldn't even see like YouTube or send emails. It was getting like ridiculous. And even like when we were on the Zoom call, it cut off twice. And I was like, my internet's fine. He was like, my internet's fine. And I just said, look, this is beyond me. I said, please. This is Kate and Peyton's details. Go to them. Because I said it was just a reoccurrence of this run of bad luck. There was another lady who I saw, which again, it was all around that stomach area. And again, it was the increase, everything. I think the main thing, main thing across all of these is that, again, it was that slight increase every so often, not really that noticeable to start with, not really that noticeable. And then every so often it kind of like turning up the heat. Can they manage that? Can they manage that? Have we got away with it? Have we got away with it? It's kind of like, I think there was a lady in the chat saying about unveiling. It's kind of like, yeah, taking off the veil little by little. Have they noticed me yet? Have they noticed me yet? So again, it's that way in which what is very much going on in our lives. So again, it was the stomach issues. They said they'd been to the doctors like 100 times. And they said they just, and I can talk from personal experience as well. For years, they said I had, what was it? They put it down to like tummy issues. There's like an overall, not PMS, but basically just a normal kind of like stomach issues. Take some Nurofen or Gaviscon, you'll be fine. That wasn't touching it. So again, it's knowing, I mean, this was many years ago. But it was always slightly bit more. And when you're getting to a point where nothing really makes sense, because to them, there's no logic. but in our minds and the way we operate, well, there kind of is, and there needs to be. So I think those would be the two key experiences from my clients, and also the one thread that I've seen over the years as to what to maybe look out for. But yeah, really like to hear Peyton's and Kate's view on that as well.
Yeah, I'll say one of the reasons why I was doing Zoom readings when I first came on YouTube, and I saw a demon behind somebody, and I don't usually see them. I'm not a medium, but there's the ability of there's something about the camera. You can see things, and you're all mediums. You can see the other side, so maybe you can elaborate on that, and I'll ask Peyton why we can see things on camera we can't see in the average with our eyes. But God and Yahshua said that they said you can't do Zoom anymore, and that's why I only do phone call readings because of that. They can actually attach to you through the internet, through the Wi-Fi, through the AI, and it's crazy, but it's real.
Mm.
So Peyton, can you give a couple of examples as to clients or any personal experience, friends, or whatever you feel comfortable sharing of, so people will know what to look for, of things that are happening to people that turned out to be an attachment or an attack and they had no idea?
Yes, this is a good one because it seems like if it's a normal, natural way of life, when people become isolated all of a sudden and you think, oh, I've not seen this person in a long time, and they're part of your regular friend group, and it's like if they've just disappeared after a while. This is because the attachment or the demon entity, whichever word you want to use, is isolating them. Very, very similarly to like an abusive relationship, the way that partner comes in, consumes your life, and isolates you from your friends and family. That's exactly the telltale signs to look out for as a friend who suddenly dropped away from your friend circle and can't make contact. Or if you do make contact with them, you find that you feel you want to pull away from them. They've done nothing wrong. They look quite similar to themselves, but you just don't want to be in contact with them anymore. You can also observe people that may have an attachment with them, the way a conversation would go in person. It will be a very chatty conversation, and then suddenly the person who doesn't have the attachment steps back. And then the conversation suddenly wraps up and the person is gone. So if you are a person actually experiencing that and not realizing why that's happened 10, 12, 15, 20 times every time you talk to someone, please look into it a bit deeper, because that's one of the telltale signs for sure. That isolation, the moment you're getting too friendly, too chatty, too chummy, and you're having a good time, it makes the other person suddenly feel uncomfortable because it steps forward, and that energy, though they can't see it, they feel really uncomfortable, and suddenly they have an urgency to leave your presence. So they end the conversation very quickly. That's one very good telltale sign to look out for.
Ooh, wow. These are nuggets. These are absolute nuggets. Kate, same question, if you will. Can you give an example of, you know, where somebody had an attachment or an attack, whatever the lingo is, and they had, they were unsuspecting, and it looked like Peyton just said, a normal everyday. This is part of. This is just what happens, I'm isolated because I'm getting older, and and I'm tired, or that's just life, I just happen, that's just a normal part of life. Any kind of advice, or more so examples as to when someone was being attacked and it was you wouldn't suspect it, so they can look for it.
Absolutely. Everybody that I've ever worked with, and I've worked with so many people, anyone that has an autoimmune issue and they can't quite get to what it is, it's just these weird symptoms, there's always an attachment. Lyme is the same way. Chronic fatigue is the same way. Any of those kind of diseases, there's always an attachment. Now, to Asria's point, these, like the demons and the attachments, and some of the attachments don't look like demons. I'll give you some examples, but they want us, their goal is to be able to use your energy as long as they can. So they'll go as slowly as they can, taking your life force energy, taking your life force energy, taking your life force energy until you have an autoimmune issue or you have chronic fatigue, Lyme, or something like that. What will happen at that point is there's a point in the disease process in which other feeder beings will come to feed on you. For Lyme, what tends to happen is actually large beings will come to feed on the person that look between a spider and a tick, very large. They'll attach a cord and they'll just be very quietly also draining your energy. And they can also have their own other young beings that look like them that they're actually supplying energy to as well. Does that make sense? Like, come on, family, let's go. Yeah, I've always seen that with autoimmune and any of those other diseases that we can't put our fingers on. Once you clear that being, guarantee what happens is the person says, oh, I feel a lot better. Things start to go better in their, with their systems. They're able actually then to allow like new information to come in. They'll meet the right person that has maybe the next step. Oh, or the next piece of information that they need will come in their life. Like, oh, these supplements to help with my adrenals or whatever. They're also cut off from like all the energy of manifesting or things coming to them. Does that make sense? Like, you're cut off from the whole world when that happens on any of those diseases, and the things can't even find you. Like the information synchronicities can't find you. I hope that makes sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My next question would be,
oh, Lady D, darling, just before you ask your next question, I just wanted to add a little bit to this one, please, if that's all right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have a troll in the chat, but it's coming from AsrIa's channel. So, demon be gone. I would crush you, but I can't. It's kind of funny that you come here during demon attachments and spiritual attacks because you're one of them. So you can be in my chat, but just know you have no power here. So be gone, little demon. Be gone. Be gone. Okay, go ahead, Peyton.
Yes, darling. Some of the attachments may not present as a scary thing if you're able to experience the feeling of it or the sensation. Some of these really dark attachments are tricksters. So they are mimics. So they can mimic a loved one. They can mimic a religious icon. They can mimic good feelings within yourself as well. So you're absolutely clueless that you have an attachment. You feel fantastic. Your life is going great, but you have the darkest attachment onto you as well. So I just wanted to include that. So not everything that's bad presents as the obvious way that we expect it to present and to be experienced as bad. Sometimes it's really bad and really dark, but it's presenting to you as something of the light because it's a trickster and it's a terrible, terrible demon.
I'm so glad you brought this up. And if anyone has anything to add, please feel free to interject. Peyton, this is so important because this happens to a lot of people. How do they know if it's a trickster when they think they're talking to Archangel Michael and it's really a demon, or if they think they're talking to their grandmother and it's a demon in disguise? How do you know when you're being tricked and it's not who you think it is?
Well, this comes right back to what I'm really trying to drive home today with everyone. You really have to get in touch with yourself and that higher being that's yours. Because when you have that resonance, that texture of the information as it comes into you, into your heart, into your mind, however you feel you're receiving it, anything that isn't that frequency feels odd and it makes you step back and think. And also, if it razzle dazzles too much, it's probably a trickster because not everything that glitters is gold. So that's like a rule of thumb there. If it's coming and giving you all the glorious heavenly light and you're feeling so uplifted and all that theatrics, say, hold on, wait. I do not consent. Let me think about it, and just leave it right there. Don't be so willing to accept everything that seems to be pretty to be good, or everything that seems to be angelic to be of delight, because it may not be. It can be complete imposters, and you just consented to your own demise by not realizing.
Sorry,
You're muted.
it's so important. Yeah, I'm always doing that. Sorry. It's so important because so many people, some of us are tricked, and it's so scary. It's just the dark is so insidious, and they're so stealthy, and that's how they get to us. They most of the times, I would say more times than not, they come in the guise of peace and love. They come in the guise as I'm Jesus, or I'm, Buddha, or I'm your best friend, or I'm, and it's so like I said, so insidious and stealth. So I'm so glad you brought that up, Peyton. AsrIa, do you have anything to add on this topic and how you could tell if somebody's being a trickster or a shyster?
Yeah, sure. And then Kate. I think that's the most amazing point, and it isn't spoken about enough.
Yes.
And I really, that is one I've experienced myself, and it's awful. And it's the promises. So if somebody, I know I've had clients before, or one or two, who have said, I'm manifesting, and everything I'm manifesting is just happening, and it's happening. And you're thinking, whoa, hold on a minute. That's a little bit too quick, because they're giving you everything that you want. And it's kind of like, hold on a minute. I know life's good now, but that's a little bit too much. Again, you can kind of say, back off, or really, again, as Peyton was saying, go back into yourself. The similar way in which, sorry, ladies, I can't remember. Oh, no, I think it was Kate who said it around, and I am going to say all the words here. If you think it's something that isn't quite right, you can basically tell it to go and fuck off. You are not welcome here. I do not give you permission. I'm not too sure what you are, but Foxtrot Oscar. Because if they are your higher self, if they are your guides, then you know. And also, you can also ask for certain feelings, certain symbols, certain signs that only you know. So if it's you, I mean, everyone has their own. I'm not even going to go through all of mine or whatever, but if you are in that little bit of uncertainty to go, is that you, or is that you doing it, or whatever the case may be, what is your sign? Is there a feeling? As you sometimes see, my arm goes. That's certainly one for me. There's loads and loads of others, depending on who, when, where, and how. It could be a color, it could be a sound, it could be whatever. Again, yes, that could be mimicking, but you can do, and again, love to hear the ladies' thoughts on this. The whole kind of Foxtrot Oscar, you are not welcome here, but it's also, I do not give permission, I do not give consent, I think is the word that's used.
Beautiful.
110%, because again, if things are coming and you think, yeah, suddenly all my views on YouTube have gone from like 200 to 2 million. So, yeah, sorry, Kate.
Beautiful. Kate, Peyton, I'm so glad you brought this up because this is a huge problem. Kate, what say you? Go for it, my dear.
Okay. What I'm going to say is recently Peyton and I did a really complicated clearing where there were a lot of tricksters. And at first they looked like something really sweet. Oh, is it their helper? Is it their, what part is this? If you ask it, reveal yourself, it will. You just say, reveal yourself. And then it will show you who it is. And then, you'll know what you need to do with it.
So you just say, show me your true identity or something like that?
Yeah.
I command you. Yeah.
Yep. You can say you can say, show me that you're a being of light. Reveal yourself. Who are you? There's so many things you could do. So you find your words and then you face it.
What I do is I'm psychic, I'm intuitive. They come to me in my mind. I have seen flashes in the corner of my eye. And now that the veil is thinner and thinner, I am starting to see more things. But for me, I don't see full-fledged entities. I mean, I got a visitation from my Andromedans, and I did see them as holograms. But more times than not, I don't see the way that you all see it. But it's getting better. I hear things a lot, but I'll see flashes, and it's funny, like when I'm talking to other people that are also connected, I'll start to see a lot of things. So for me, if I don't know what it is, I'll say, "Who are you? Do you work with Yeshua HaMashiach, God? Do you work with Jesus and God?" And usually as soon as I say Yeshua Jesus, if they're not a love and light, they'll go, "Poof."
Mhm.
And if I don't know who they are, I said, "Listen, I don't know who you are. Fuck off. You're not welcome here." I do. I'm not in the mood for you.
And
Just
just to
be
build on
gone.
that, yes, just be gone, poof. But just to
Yep.
build on what both Kate and AsrIa just said, yes, it is. You can ask to have it be revealed, but it's a combination that you have to get. It's like an instinctive combination because they're tricksters. They can reveal something really pleasing to you to disarm you and make you relax. They can still do that little trick, but it's the combination of your gut feeling, that instinct that you got when it appeared. Just go with it. Just trust it. Learn to trust it because they can really hold on to that and reveal yourself. They go from an angel to Jesus, and it's still a shape-shifting trick. So you want to have the combination of a little bit of thought and a little bit of reservation and say, I'm okay, because anything that is not for you and of you will not be trying to coax you, trick you, lure you. That's the first thing you need to do. Anything that is for you, that is of you, will just be observing and supporting. So that's something to watch out for. So remember, the tricksters are really good. They've been doing it for millennia, and they've been doing it in multiple dimensions as well. So they're really good. They study us. They know our weaknesses, our likes, dislikes, our thoughts. They know who's past in our lives, and they know what we want in our lives. So they will present all of it to you to convince you that they are for you and that they are good. And if it, like what AsrIa was saying, this person was just getting too many things way too fast. If it's coming into this role, if you want to and you just don't want this sort of attachment, you have to put the brakes on it and say, oh, I think I've made a mistake here, and then start looking into how to deal with it. So have the combination of your gut instincts as well as your observation and make a discerning decision.
Beautiful. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm going to state something. And again, I'd like to know your take on it. My experience, because we've all been through it, is that you'll know it's a trickster or a shyster because they don't want to empower you. They want you to work through them, and they want you to rely on them. A being of light, or of God, or of Yeshua, or something that's working with love and divine power will empower you. Would you say that's accurate, Peyton?
Yes, there's some truth to that. So it's not just empowerment, like they're going to make you strong, but you have this sense of their support, and you have this sense that of their knowledge that they begin to guide you towards. If it's like, pay attention to this advertisement, or go onto YouTube right now, and then suddenly a video that's of great interest and information pops up and you're getting nourishment from this. That's how your support team shows you stuff to help you help yourself. The tricksters definitely, as you just said, wants you to work through them, because now you're like praising them for all the hard work that they've done to get you what you've asked for. So that's a very good point, Lady D. Yes.
Yeah. AsrIa, do you have anything to add on that point?
No, I think Peyton said it beautifully. Absolutely.
Okay.
I think, yeah, it is always do as much, because we're here to learn as well. So it's as much as we can do it, but they are there to support us. No, I think you said it beautifully.
Beautiful. Kate, do you have anything you would like to add on that?
No, I think you got it. Perfect.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful. So I'd like to move on to, I think is very important, as to how do we protect ourselves? And before we go into the actual protection, I think in my experience, both personally and professionally, I think the number one thing that we need to do to protect ourselves is to be very cognizant of what we surround ourselves with, what we do, what we watch. Everything is an influence. Now, I am not judging anyone and saying that you have to do this, you have to do that. None of us walk on water and none of us are perfect. But I will tell in my line of work and my experience that certain behaviors that you do, you are making yourself susceptible to attachments and attacks, mainly drugs, alcohol. We're not talking about having a glass of wine. I'm talking about heavy duty alcoholism where you black out, because when you black out and you're not in your body, what's coming into your body? If you notice, when people black out, the severe alcoholics, they're not cognizant. That's because they're not in their body. And when you're drunk, you open yourself up and then other things come in. That's why they wake up the next day with a hangover and you said, you know, you were a real asshole last night. You did this, this, and that. And they have no recollection of it because they really weren't there. So that sort of thing. Also, casual sex, hooking up. When you have intercourse with somebody and you exchange DNA, that DNA stays with you for months and months. When you have sex with somebody, you're not just having sex with that person, you're having sex with everything that's attached to that person. Also, all the influences, what you watch, there's so many demonic shows, there's so many demonic things on television, there's so many demonic radio programs, and there's also demonic songs. So would you agree, Peyton, that there's certain behaviors, and like we said, we're not telling you what to do. We're all big people, we're all big girls and boys, but are there certain behaviors and things that we do that make us more susceptible to the attacks and the attachments? And I'm going to start with Peyton because we're just going to go in the line.
Okay, 100%. Yes.
Okay.
Your activities, your actions, people don't consider those to be risky things, risky behavior. Drinking, yes, and of course having lots of casual encounters with sex is not a good idea, because it's not just the DNA, you're taking on every attachment the person has, and the person that left more attachment on them as well. So you're really bringing it into your auric field. But other than that, you have places that you go. There's certain dark alleys or certain shadowy buildings that you think you feel like, oh God, it's creepy in there, something's not right. And you go in as well, you pick something up right there and then. So you're not to be paranoid, of course, but you have to use a bit of discernment and think, okay, not today. I don't need to walk down this particular alley. I'll just take the other way around because I'll just avoid something I need to spend a lot more time dealing with. So if everyone really pay attention to their behavior, their actions, and not be so loose, it could help to avoid any of these little attachments. And I do agree with that statement that you made, Lady D. It is something that needs to be rectified. Drinking alcohol as well, of course, when you become, inebriated, really, really drunk, drugs, etc., taking you out of yourself, your consciousness sinks and the thing steps in and you can't remember your really vile, bad behavior that you carried on with. You hurt people. You say some awful things. Sometimes people get physical and they don't remember. So there's no accountability because they're lost. But the person that they've done it to is really, really upset and is looking for that sort of apology or accountability from the person, and it's not there. So if you start thinking of other people, you won't be so selfish and getting into these little troubles with alcohol. And if you do have a problem with alcohol and you're ready to face it, please get in contact with your local support group or a friend that can take you in and give you the support you need to come off of it, because I know it's a very addictive substance, all these substances that takes you out of your natural state and is really difficult to get off of. So you go seek help and find a friend.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, and it's kind of funny. We speak about demonic attachments and spiritual attacks, and we get them in the chat. Oh, you don't like us talking about you. Oh, don't worry. We're going to talk about you all more. You can come and troll and troll and troll, but be gone, be gone. Asria.
No, Kate had her hand up 1 second. She was just about to say something.
If you
ahead.
don't mind, I want to piggyback on what Peyton said.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Demons that attach to you during heavy drug use. I'm talking street drugs and alcohol. They don't leave unless you remove them. What they'll do is they'll encourage this person to keep drinking, keep drinking, keep drinking. There's a number of people I've worked with that said, I can't give it up. I can't give it up. When you remove the demons, they're like, I'm not even thinking about it anymore. Now I want to go forward with my life. I want to look for a partner. I want to, all this kind of thing. So they've got to be removed because they will not remove themselves. And there's usually more than one that attach. I just wanted to make that point.
No, keep going, because this is your forte. So anything.
I want to say
roll with it,
something,
honey.
and I want to say something positive about cannabis. Cannabis is a wonderful tool for people to relax. It's a wonderful tool for being able to connect to the spiritual. There's a point at which, if you're going to smoke it to go like completely out of your mind, then there's a chance of an attachment. I'm just going to say, I don't see many attachments with cannabis, only when the person kind of has an addictive behavior anyways, addictive personality, and they'll just keep going and going and going. And when it's already served its purpose, then there'll be a demon that attaches for sure, at least one. But the alcohol, right. With alcohol, hands down, there's a point to where your field is compromised, and you're going to have buddies. You're going to have a whole bunch of them, and they're not going to let go. They're going to want you to continue. Thank you.
And oh, no problem. Anytime you guys have a point that you want to interject, just raise your hand and interject. It's this is an open forum here. So I've noticed that too with my clients. They love addictions. Demons and attachments love addictions. They want you to keep drinking. They want you to keep gambling. They want you to keep eating. Exactly. It's it's like they'll do it. It's like, because with anyone with an addiction, they'll come to you and they say, I want to stop, but I can't. It's because they really can't, because it's the attachment.
Mm-hmm.
It's the attack, the demon that wants them and makes them want that behavior, to drink or to do that.
I think that's such a good point. And we could say that too. What is an indicator that I might have an attachment? An addiction that you just can't get over. And again, it could be food. I just can't stop eating. I can't talk myself out of it no matter what I do. Or it could be anything. I think that's another sign that you would. And they won't leave unless you have them removed.
Yeah. Wow. That's AsrIa, was anything that you want to add on this? Any examples or any experiences you've had?
I would absolutely agree with what everyone said, but also if we're looking at addictions and that can go way further, and I think one of the biggest ones that has hit in a very long time is music. If we're looking at the music industry, sorry, I can't remember who said it, but in regards kind of like to the like even like with movies and films and that type of stuff. So with music, you've got like the different hertz and the different frequencies. And when people really kind of like idolize, oh God, I'm probably going to show my age now. I don't know. Taylor Swift, I think that's supposed to. Anyway, maybe it's her, maybe it's not her. I don't really know the music, so I can't comment. But it's sometimes when we're listening to like certain music, certain frequencies, some of the maybe like the heavy metals or whatever the case may be, that is something that is kind of like a constant fuel as well. Because again, while we're kind of trying to raise here, we've got something coming in that's pushing it down as well. So we're trying to keep up here and it's pushing us down. Again, with like some TV and films and stuff like that, if we're getting this constant imagery, I know with the person that I was with, And I said, who became a full, I'm gonna say depression. But and the main thing that he was looking at was like certain video games. There's like killings and blood and all this kind of stuff constantly. I mean, literally morning, noon, night, all the way through the night. The imagery, the sound, again, it's that feeding. So people can say, I go onto a video game and I just can't get off. Same thing. Same thing. It's that addiction. It's that feeding. So I know we were kind of talking about protections, but I think this is also really a really, really good point. So it's not just the case that it's one or two things. Music, drugs, alcohol is really being aware of what is around you, what is in your, and what you're putting into your body as well. Because when we talk about food, yes, okay, I mean, all of us can have like certain foods and everything, but if it's always heavy, dense food, I mean, everyone likes a burger or a pizza or something now and again, but if it's constant, then again, it's that heaviness. Because then we go into kind of like gluttony and those sorts of topics as well.
Brilliant. I think that almost this show could be like, maybe we have to do part 2 and part 3, because I think this is such an important topic. And like you said, we could talk about this forever. I've heard of people getting demonic attachments from watching scary horror movies. Is that possible? What do you say? What do you say, Kate? Do you think that that's possible?
100%.
Okay, can you
100%.
elaborate more on that? If you had any personal experiences or any of your clients, and then I'll go around the table.
Yeah, here's what I've seen. So they're watching the movie. It terrorizes them. So you're having an emotional reaction. The adrenals kick in, the energy field softens, and then demons are around. Let's just say that. They'll find you. They find your frequency. Oh, you're in the frequency of terror. I'm going to come to you. And again, we're talking about quantum leaps. It doesn't have to be in the same room with you at the time that you start. These demons can travel instantly from wherever they're at on the planet. They just can. They're moving in and out of dimensions and things. So they'll find you because your energy frequency attracts it.
Wow. Peyton, I'm going to go run to the little girls' room because I drank too much water. So I'll be right back. Would you like to elaborate on it? And then AsrIa, you go. And I'll let you run it for about 5 minutes. Well, I'll be right back.
All right, darling, no problem. Yes, through the movies and things like that, they can definitely come through to you. Also, other than what Kate just mentioned, where it penetrates your energy field, some of the reasons it's able to do that and become in your tangible environment is because some of these movies are actual rituals. They're literally putting spells and rituals in these movies that are literally affecting you the moment you sit there to observe it. And in observing it, now you're consenting to it. You've given your consent because you're participating in it. So I am quite a horror buff. I do enjoy a good horror, good scary movie. If it's not scary, I'm really disappointed and thinking, oh, that rubbish I wasted my time to look at. So I am very, very guilty of indulging in these things. But upon indulging in it, my observation has become very keen with some of the rituals that are taking place and the things that I didn't even pick up. If you look at some of the influencers that know how to dissect movies and they can show you number symbolism or a little painting or a product placed in the background and the significance of that product or the scene that's taking place, what it symbolizes, you will be absolutely dumbfounded to know that this simple little movie has all those ritualistic steps in it. So this is what opens you up and opens up your home or wherever you've been looking at it to actually open portals, because some of it is like rituals to open portals. Suddenly you looked at one little scary movie. Next thing you know, you have a portal. Next thing you know, loads of demons are coming around for tea. So you have to really be mindful. I'm not saying don't watch a horror movie, but I'm saying be mindful that these are possibilities. So you do the correct, the little protections to make sure that you keep certain things at bay and you watch it with more wise eyes.
AsrIa, would you like to put in your
Yeah.
2 cents on that?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. And again, going back to kind of like some of the music videos and things like that, again, some of the imagery and movies, as you said, what is one, and I think that's a really, really amazing point that you just made there, Peyton, is that it is around the consent issue, the consent level. Because when we're saying you are not welcome here, we're basically going, go away. But if we're knowingly or unknowingly giving consent, i.e., watching the movies, watching the music videos, listening to whatever, they got you. And then the other thing I just wanted to, if I can, add on to that as well, which somebody mentioned there around fear. Don't fear. Don't fear them. Because again, that feeds into it as well. So it's being aware again of what's around you, because then pushing it away. Because we do remember have that free will element. So if we're always sitting in that what's around me, what's going on, I know because I did get like that at one point. I wouldn't even walk past a mirror. At one point, it got quite bad. And then I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, even if there was like a line of cars like with all their windows, I mean, I would have had my arms crossed, legs crossed, trying to walk. Trust me, I look like a right fool. But it did get to a point, and I was like, I'm literally just giving them food because of the level of fear. And again, that's where we're talking maybe like mainstream media. It is feeding that fear. It's like the horror movies. It's feeding that fear. What's around the door? I can't turn the light off.
Wow. Yeah.
So not feeding into that level of fear.
Yeah. If they know that if they know that you're scared, they love that. So you can't let them know that you're scared. You have to be really courageous and be like a bully. It's like a bully, right? You look them in the eye and say, I'm not afraid of you. Fuck off.
Yeah. Would I be right in saying that, Peyton and Kate as well? I know that's said from my own experience, if I can ask.
Yes, definitely. That fear factor is so impactful because it resonates through the heart chakra, reverberates through the body, and then your mind is set in that state. And everything you think about includes that somehow. Everywhere you turn, like you said, you became a little paranoid. You're blocking yourself from mirrors and everything, and trying to keep it at bay. But part of you know that that's not actually keeping it at bay. And you felt a level of comfortability within yourself by doing that, but you're still frightened. So panic and fear is a very high charged energy that they use or utilize to feed off of. Is somehow the best frequency that they receive from us when we're petrified. So that is correct. Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well, folks, we're getting on the 2-hour mark, and I don't want to keep you late in the UK because it's 10 o'clock. So I just wanted to do maybe some quick, we do have questions. I want to get to the questions. And again, if you ladies will agree to maybe do a part 2 according to schedules, I'd love to have you back on because I feel that this is not a topic that we can just tackle in one show. Like you all said, we can go on forever and ever. So I think if you all would love to do this, I'd love to have you. And before we get to the questions, and we have about 10. So if you do have a question, put it in all caps. What I wanted to, if you could give, if somebody came to you and they didn't have a lot of time and they said, how do I best protect myself? What advice would you give them? And what do you do? And you advise your clients? And I'll start with Peyton. We'll go around the squares.
Is it that they don't have a lot of time on that day to do something really extensive?
Yeah, if you were just like passing somebody, because I do want to I think we're going to have to do a whole show on protection, I think there's so much. So in order for the time, because it's 10 o'clock there in the UK, and I don't want to keep you on for 3 hours. So, but I did want to touch about protection because there's
Yes.
so many in my clients in the community that's being protected. So, yeah, that are, excuse me, that are being attacked. So if you could give them like a quick, quick little
Yes.
bullet points of how to protect
Okay.
yourself.
Yes. Well, I would inform my clients to activate the Maharic shield. Now, the Maharic shield of your human body is 1 foot, like a ruler, beneath your feet. And then we're connecting that to the core of the earth, and then we're taking that up to the 14th chakra. So there is a process with doing it. It's not very long, but you're energizing yourself from the core of the earth to your Maharic shield underneath your feet, through the pillar, take the pillar through the body to the 14th chakra, and then you put yourself into your Merkaba, right? And you just energize it. Yes. So that will be one technique of protection, physical protection, to energize the Maharic shield, because I like to utilize the 12th chakra, which is just beneath your feet. 1 foot, 12, think 12 inches, which is a ruler, but also it's the 12th chakra connected to the 15th, which is the core of the earth.
Very interesting. Kate, would you like to
Yeah, I
go
would
next?
say, yeah, to shorten it, I'd say, hey, we are living consciousness. We are like living light bulbs, and you got to recharge your light bulb. And when you are standing fully charged, you are impenetrable. And I would also say, look, you're also a child of God. What does that mean? Feel that love. And so what I would do is very simply take your shoes off and get your feet on the ground with Mother Earth. She loves us so much. She gives us power. We're biologically compatible to her. So that's part of that light bulb, turning that light bulb on. The other thing is the divine. Then feel the divine. Most people feel it here. Some people feel it in your heart, but for sure feel it at the top of your head. And then in your heart, that's kind of the connection point between the two. When you can feel that and feel in love, you'll feel love, you'll feel power, and you'll feel who you are. That's the ultimate, that's your ultimate power. Can you imagine, Lady D? I mean, and all of you, I know you can, Peyton, I know you can. If we all knew how powerful we were, that's why the dark wants us. That's why they're feeding off of us. Can you imagine that if we go like this, we go like, back off, mofo. I can see you, back off. If all of us were standing in that power, we wouldn't have any of this darkness. We wouldn't have any of this really ugliness. It would just be, you could call people on their crap. You could take care of all of these extraneous energies. I don't know. I imagine a world like that. I know Peyton does. I know you guys do too. But okay, I just want to say that. That's why I would love to be part of the show that talks about protection. There's so much we could say. Yeah.
Oh, I want to have you guys. I want the three of you on all. I want to make this an ongoing show on Sundays, and depending on your schedules, I would love to have you back, because I think this is very, very important, especially in this time we're in. We're approaching Ascension, and the attacks are crazy. Everyone is getting attacked. Everyone I talk to, it's just so this is very, very important because they're dying and they need the loosh and they're fighting for their life. So yeah, this is very important. And like I said, because we're at the precipice, So AsrIa, what advice would you give to somebody that would want to protect themselves for any impending attacks or attachments?
I think what Peyton and Kate were saying was incredible. I mean, that was, I think, yeah, certainly grounding to the earth. There are physical things that we can, because we're quite tangible people, which maybe we can cover off on another show. But for me, it's certainly bringing in all of those energy bodies. Remember, we're a bit like an onion. We're such and again, following on from what Kate was saying, we are such multi-dimensional beings that we're only on the precipice of what we can actually do. So it's just bringing all those energy fields in, and whether you're surrounding it, as Peyton said, with the Merkaba, or with a light bubble, or you can imagine a mirrors around you. So it's pushing that energy back out, not inwards, outwards. Certainly grounding with that chakra just underneath your feet, 100%. Sometimes a few of my clients have been using more of a gold energy recently, so more of like a gold bubble. There is no right, wrong way. What feels right for you? What gives you your intention, your protection, your strength, your so there's loads of different ways. And it's not what I get through with some of my clients is that, as I said, he was doing it this way, she was doing it. Doesn't matter what feels right for you. So you don't want to be sitting there going, oh, well, she told me to do it this way and he told me to do it that way. How does it feel for you? So whether it's the Peyton way, the Kate way, the my way, the your way, but definitely pulling those energies in and surrounding them with gold, white, light, bubbles, mirrors, 110%.
Wonderful. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I think we've established, according to the schedules, they want us. They want you back. They want you back. They're loving it. So Peyton, Kate, and AsrIa, you have an open invitation, and maybe we can do this like maybe every couple of weeks or once a month. Again, we'll figure it out off camera according to schedules. But I would love to have you back because this is a very important topic, and we can do other shows too. But I think right now we should concentrate on this because, like I said, one show is not going to do it. And I still have many, many questions. I could keep you here for hours.
Yes.
So if you don't mind staying a few more, I won't keep you too much longer. As I said, I know it's 10 o'clock in the UK, a little after. If you don't mind, we're going to have some questions. And what I'll do is I'll bring up the question and we'll just go around and I'll have you ladies answer the question. Is that okay with you all? Beautiful. Okay. So, I think this is more of a question that they might have to contact you personally because I don't think you're able to tap in now, but I'll just bring it up anyways. And I think you might have to get in touch with either Peyton or Kate with this one because I'm not sure they can do this on the fly, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Casey Smith Bay, go ahead, go ahead, take it
No, I was
on.
going to say we can do it on the fly, but it's probably too personal. So contact me or
Okay.
contact Peyton, and we'll talk to you about it.
All right.
Yeah.
And at the end, I have all their contact information and underneath the show. Okay. And in the description of the show, and I'll add everything else. And also at the end, I'll have them talk about the different services and how they can help you and how to get in touch with them. So we'll get back to you, Cassie, and thank you for joining us and thank you for the question. Oh, here's certain someone that we know. Tia Bean, wah. She'll be joining us soon. Tia Bean wants to know, can you say more about identifying and managing the change in the room temperatures? And AsrIa, since you're up there on the left, I'll have you go first.
I think for me, it's certainly the fuck off, you're not welcome. That's always my starting point. I mean, you've probably done like the protections and that in the house and things like that. So if you do sort of feel that change, then just do your own protections so that they're not necessarily coming into you. Fuck off, and then do your own clearings and rebalancing of the area around you. As just a very quick thing, but that'd be amazing to get Peyton and Kate's thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, Peyton, do they change the room temperature? I think that's what Tia Bean was asking. Like you're sitting there and all of a sudden it gets really cold and stuff like that. Is that an indication that there could be something around?
Yes, sometimes, not always, but sometimes,
Okay.
especially if you are sensitive, you may pick up on this. You may walk from one spot in the same room and then the next part of the room is icy cold, or you feel like your pores raised and it's cold on one side of your body or your face. And it's not really logical because the rest of the room is of normal temperature. Yes, that can happen indeed.
Well, Kate's not here. I'll ask her when she gets back. I'll go back to Kate when she gets back. Okay, let's see. We have Julesy Bob. Julesy Bob, thank you for being here and for the question. how do I keep pulling myself out of meditations through fear of my own abilities? And I'm going to start with Peyton since you're up there to the left.
Well, the thing with meditation, because you're coming in with such an open heart, you may be also opening up to things that you don't want to invite. So this may be your instincts kicking in, avoiding you from pulling in an attachment. So honor that instinct and know that it is protecting you. So when you're doing a meditation, you want to focus more on your energy grounding and protection as opposed to just meditating to see what's out there, because what's out there is possibly going to be a trickster that's going to use your meditation and your open heart chakra as consent to join you. So well done to you for your instincts actually interrupting you from going any deeper. Be really happy with that. And now you know the feeling and you can recognize what's happening. Also apply it in your daily life. When you get that feeling where something's kind of pulling you back and making you double think, check, wonder, ponder, know that you're being protected by your inner workings, and just figure it out first before you take another step forward.
Wow. AsrIa, do you have anything that you would like to share on that?
I think that was absolutely beautiful and perfectly put. And the fact that, as we were saying before, is honoring and having that gratitude that that's what your instinct and that's what your intuition has done. Yes, you might not necessarily be able to go into that meditation then and there, but yeah, just step back and go, thank you, great, that's where it was. So yeah, beautiful, absolutely beautifully put.
Awesome. Oh, I wanted to run this by you, Kate. Let's see. It was one. I might have gotten rid of it.
The coldness.
It's okay. I think. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I unstarted. So, Kate, we had a question earlier about Tia being asked a question about is there any way to detect whether the different changes in the temperatures of the room could be an attachment or not, and do they change temperature, make things hot or cold?
What a great question.
That's from Tia Bean.
Let's see. You'll feel, yes, some of it is temperature. It can be temperature with certain beings. Some of it's not temperature, but you get a feeling like your hair will stand up, the hairs on your arms will stand up. There's always like an emotional feeling to it, whether it's whether it's temperature or whether it's hair standing on edge or something like that. Did I answer the question? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
No, you did.
Yeah.
Spot on.
It's great.
Spot on.
I mean, because all of that is a detection. You know what I mean? You'll be like, you're dissecting something. Yeah.
Right. Right. Beautiful. And I don't know. So she was talking about, she goes, Julie Bob was talking about how she meditates and then she gets to a certain point, then she gets so deep that she pulls herself out of fear. So do you think that's an indicator that something's stopping her? Because when she goes deep, maybe she's not knowing it there. She's sensing that something's trying to enter her auric field. Do you have anything you'd like to say about this
No,
question?
I heard Peyton's answer and I agree 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right. This is Coracat. Question. What is cloaking and how can it be identified? And I'm going to have you start with you, Kate, since you're up the top left.
Cloaking is interesting. When you think of like Harry Potter and the cloak that makes somebody invisible, you can use that as a strategy. Witches will do it a lot, or people that want to send a being in to look at you, or if somebody wants to astral travel and look at you, they'll cloak themselves. So it's like an invisibility cloak. What you can do is when you know you've been attacked or something is in there, sometimes they'll leave very quickly. If they're cloaking, they're usually going to watch you and then they're going to leave. You can ask your higher self, let me see the cloak. Let me see what's under the cloak. Let me see who was in the cloak. Let me see where they went. You ask a number of questions of your higher self. You'll eventually get to what you'll see. You'll see the person who was doing it. You'll see what they were trying to accomplish. Just keep asking questions and your higher self will reveal it to you. Sometimes you'll see kind of skid marks too. I mean, you know what I mean? And then that's an indicator. Show me if somebody was here. Skid marks, you know what I mean? Or you know what I'm saying? Ask enough questions and you'll get your answers for who it was and what were they trying to accomplish.
Ooh, skid marks. Very interesting.
Sneaky.
Wow. AsrIa, anything you would like to add? What is cloaking and how can it be identified?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where we were going back to our higher selves and our intuition and our feelings within ourselves. I mean, I know Peyton was mentioning around sort of like the dream state as well, and we can have them coming into our dream state as far as I'm aware. Happy to be corrected, ladies. Where you think, that's a bit of a oddball there. But certainly with what Kate was saying around because everything is energy, so everything will leave kind of like an energy trace. But it is going back to our own feelings. That wasn't quite right, or that wasn't who I thought it was. So just going back to your inner feelings and your inner knowledge there.
AsrIa, right. You'll feel like you're being watched, but you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, this is the strangest thing. You'll be like, what's on my shoulders? You'll feel it. It doesn't matter if you're sleeping or not. You'll feel it. Then you ask for, who is this? What is this? And whatever. Confront it. Turn around and confront it. That's our best defense. I'm telling you. We need to go after them. We need to go after what is coming to us to make us afraid. I'm just saying. All right. More to come.
Peyton, anything you would like to add? What is cloaking and how can it be identified?
Yes, so cloaking is when someone is coming in to either remote view you or to do some mischief. So they will come disguised as an animal, or they may try to come invisible as well. And so let's say if it's happening in the astral, when you're sleeping, you may see a little cat or something, but something's amiss about this cat. And it could jump into you, and a whole lot of scenarios can happen, you know. And then for all day long, you feel like a cat is in your belly. It's really weird. But that's what cloaking is. Someone who's doing spiritual work has come disguised, either come invisible or as an animal, because it's a familiar thing to us. So we kind of disregard it in the dream. But look closer. You would see the animal, but like an overlay, like a projector, you will see the person. So don't dismiss it too quickly. Keep looking and you will see your culprit. So that's what cloaking is, and that's how to identify it in my experience.
Beautiful. This is so interesting. I'm telling you, this information is just it's I think more valuable than gold right now. It's just we all need to hear this.
I have one more.
Go ahead.
If I may interrupt you. Now, you know, we've all experienced this. Sometimes summertime is responsible for it, but sometimes it's a lot more creepy than it is. You have one fly that comes out of nowhere into your house. You whack it, you kill it, you get rid of it. And then another one, all of a sudden, out of nowhere. You whack it, you kill it, you get rid of it. Then another one. Something's up. Don't take that for granted. That's not just summertime. That's not because you left the window open. Someone is watching and they're using the energy of like a fly. And this is how they're coming through to you. So if you've killed 3-4 flies and they just keep coming out of nowhere, you have someone observing you, and that's how they've cloaked themselves.
Yeah.
You got to spy. You've got to spy. Yeah. Especially in the winter,
spiders?
like in the winter.
Yes, spiders,
wasps,
or like of an evening when there's like no
crows.
flies around. And you, where on earth?
Yes.
That's brilliant, Peyton. I love it. Yeah,
brilliant, Peyton. So spiders too. Before you did your I shouldn't say before. I've killed a lot of spiders. So spiders too.
Yes, spiders. You're on mute, Kate.
You're on mute, Kate.
Spiders, yes, and they're great places to put spells. Spiders will carry out what the person wants it to do without thinking. They'll get their young ones involved if they have a nest too. So those are great places to look. If you've cleared your house and you're like, well, I don't know, something else is still going on. It feels like chaotic energy or something's in here. Look for the spider webs outside your house and the little nests. Yeah.
I'm floored. I'm floored. Especially the flies. I mean, they're so irritating too. They're like,
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. See, the things we did not know. And another thing, and I learned this from AsrIa and Tia Bean. I didn't, believe it or not, I've been in this profession 30 some odd years. I didn't know that it makes sense that mirrors and screens were portals.
Mhm.
So we're constantly learning. So this is, oh my God, you guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. Okay, I'm going to continue with the questions here. Okay, it's right. Lulu Bell, right here. Is sleep paralysis anything to do with attachments? And I'm going to go with Kate first. We'll go around.
I've always seen it related to attachments. Always.
Okay.
There are very large beings that like to come and join people when they're sleeping, almost like sleep on top of them, smother them. That could be a part of the paralysis. I've also known a case where a gentleman had a being attached to him back here, where the beings like to attach back here by the occipital area and the brainstem, because they can get you to do things for them, like walk for them and do things like that. And he actually walked off a balcony. He survived it, but he was sleepwalking. He had like a history of that. He really severely injured himself, and that stopped when the attachment was moved. Very large being that was attached to him earlier on in his life.
So sleepwalking could be sign of an attachment too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
And
What
if you'll
about you?
notice, they don't remember what they did. And the
Right.
parents will say, well, I talked to you and you were in the fridge eating, or you were doing whatever. And they're like, oh, I don't remember that. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Wow. It's kind of like when people black out when they're under, the influence of substances. Wow. AsrIa, what do you say about sleep paralysis and attachments?
In all honesty, I'm learning on that one. So thanks, Kate. I always guessed, but I must confess that is definitely a new one on me. So thank you so much.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Same with here. I always guessed it, but I wasn't sure. Peyton, what do you say about sleep paralysis and attachments?
Definitely. And you can get different ones as well. You could get the creepy, crawly ones that come and they scratch on your neck, or you get the ones that are very sexual, like the incubus and succubus, or you could just get one that's big and heavy, or you could just get a little imp. Oh, there's a variety of things that could happen. And that sleep paralysis is them, their energy on you. And all you can do is think or move your eyes. And people see it as a medical issue if they're not able to sense or see or dream that there's something there with them. And they're down the medical route trying to get rid of sleep paralysis, when it's a much more etheric or spiritual reason behind it. So, yeah, it definitely is one of those to watch for.
I'm learning so much. So much. It's amazing. You guys are amazing. All right, last question. And this is coffee, dogs, and spirit rods. I love it. And I love them all. I love coffee. I love dogs. I don't have a spirit rod, but I'm sure I love them too. Do you have to ask them who they are 3 times? I've heard they can't lie 3 times or something. Sounds silly, but could be true. Not sure. Go ahead, Kate.
Okay, this goes back to when I said, when I talk to the spirit and say, or the entity, and I'll say, reveal yourself. And Peyton's right. They'll change their view many, many times. If you stay with it, I'm not sure it's 3 times, to be honest. But when I stay with it and say, reveal yourself, and they change, reveal yourself, eventually they're no longer able to. It's like they run out of energy to project a new thing. And eventually they're frustrated because you're not going to let go, and they'll leave. At least that's my opinion. So,
Ooh. Peyton, would you like to add anything to that?
Yes, it may not be 3 times. It totally depends on your persistence and your energy within that moment to ask for the reveal. And also when they run out of ideas as to how to mask and trick you. So they've gone through your past relative, they've come as your fluffy past pet, they tried a religious icon, and they just keep trying different things until they're like, oh, well, sod it, I've given up. So it's your persistence and the strength that you're coming from as well, where you may get to the end, but it might not be 3 times. It might be quite a few more times if you have the energy to go through it, or it might just be once, because it might be that you caught them off guard, because it is possible to catch them off guard as well, where they just go, oh crap, she asked me a question, poof, and they just kind of involuntarily shake off their cloak, and then you see them. So it is very varied the way these things happen. There isn't a cookie cutter way that things go. You can have a standard way of doing things, and then suddenly you get a curveball that you've never encountered before. So yes, but just keep persistent, keep strong, and you'll see what it is.
Beautiful, beautiful. AsrIa, was anything you would like to add to that?
I think the only thing that I would really add is maybe sometimes with the language that you use. I mean, I think certainly if they're not expecting you to see them, and it's kind of, as Peyton said, kind of catch them off guard. I know, like, when I've been with a client before and like they immediately came on screen, and then literally you just see them go and think, oh, where'd that go? But also it's the case of language. So you can ask, as the ladies were saying, but it's asking the questions. But what is the language that you're using within those questions? Are you commanding? You asking? You and I'm just looking at Kate. There is nodding away. So I'm really pleased. Is what the language you asking, commanding. Again, it's, and as Peyton was saying, it's that persistence. Do you have that energy to kind of sit with it as well? But this is more for the wonderful ladies at the top there.
I want to add to that. They hate to be
ahead.
confronted. They don't expect us to be confrontive. They hate for us to stand in our power. When you stand in your power, you are commanding them. Show me who you are. And most of the time, they're so frustrated, they'll leave. I'm just saying, I'm thinking of demons and I'm thinking of witches at the same time. As I say that, they don't expect we're ever onto them. I'm telling you, there's a whole group of us that know, and we're onto you. I'm just saying. And it will get larger and larger. We're taking our power back.
I love it. This
And
is
our
such
world
an empowering
back.
thing. I love it. It's so empowering. This one is an interesting question, and I will tell you, I just want to add one thing. I had a client, and I got this on my Psychic Live the other night. She woke up, her husband was speaking a foreign language, an ancient foreign language, and what I got intuitively is that her husband was out in the astral and something followed him back. And this ties into this. I have conversations with myself at night in a strange language, not scary, but wish I knew why. So is that possible? Because I got that very strongly, that when you go out in the astral, something can follow you back. Because that's what I got very strongly. And if you want to answer this question, I'll start with Kate.
Yeah, something can follow you back. Let's see. I have conversation strange language. I'm not sure. I don't feel anything's following her back. I feel more like she's talking a star language with her ancestors, or her people.
Gotcha. Peyton, do you have anything to add to that about, can they follow you back first of all? And then Jill from the UK, she's over there across the pond with you all. I have conversations with myself at night in a strange language. Not sure, a little scary. Anything you'd like to add with that?
Yes, things can follow you back. They piggyback on you and come through. But with regards to the thing with the foreign language, I'm sensing that, like a deceased that speaks a foreign language is attaching as well. So it's living vicariously through her in her unconscious state. Hence why she doesn't have any control over this language that she's beginning to speak. So she may need to have that looked at, because that's what's coming through for me with her there.
Beautiful. Thank you. AsrIa, have you ever heard of any of your clients getting followed back? And what is your intuitive, what are you getting intuitively and about Jill's question? I have conversations with myself at night, a strange language, not scary, but I wish I knew why. What are you getting intuitively, hun?
Intuitively, mainly, I'd like to follow on from Payne's point there. It is a conversation with somebody else. There is a two-way. It's not with yourself. There's a two-way thing happening. But certainly, I agree. There is a follow back that can happen, and this is where we're talking about doing our protections throughout the day, keeping our own energy levels up. So, like, even when you go to sleep, don't automatically think, oh, I'm going to sleep, I'm fine. So have your salt, not necessarily every day, but like have your salt showers, make sure there's certain things around your bed, say your prayers or whatever it is that you do. Because when we do go into those dream states, when we do go into those, was it delta, theta waves, etc., then we are connecting higher up, etc. But certainly, I would agree with Peyton. There is a two-way conversation there, but I would, get somebody to kind of talk you through that and as to what's going on. Maybe one of these wonderful ladies to do it. Hope that helps.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to give you all a little minute to say your final words and how to get in touch with you and what services you offer in general and anything in especially pertaining to the topic tonight, how you can help people with spiritual attacks and if I could talk, demonic attachments. So Kate, can you tell us, obviously I'm going to put their websites and all their social media, what I have underneath in the description of the show, but Kate, can you, any last words and how can people get in touch with you and what services do you provide, my dear?
Okay, people can get in touch with me by my website, katesterling.com. If you have any questions or, you're like, what is this or what is that? Just email me and I'll take a look at it for you. No problem. I do have, what I really specialize in is like really complex removals for things. I work with a lot of people that have lived with narcissists for a really long time. And there's layers and layers and layers. I was telling ladies before the show that when you're with a narcissist, it's like death by a million cuts because they just keep coming after you over and over and over. And your energy body will look like a person that's been through ritual abuse. I'm just saying. So there's layers and layers that can be cleared usually pretty quickly. I work with people like a month at a time because I want to have enough time to do the clearings. And sometimes when you clear something, then another layer comes up. So you'll find all that information on there. I do have a couple of classes that are on there. I do have one that's how to take back your home and your property, where it's a 2-hour webinar, and it's actually shows you like how I clear homes and what I do. So you're welcome to sign up for that if you want. And then any other classes I have will be listed on the site as well.
Beautiful. You're on YouTube? You're on YouTube or any social media?
No, not yet. I might be in the future.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Miss Peyton, any last words? What services do you offer and how can people get in touch with you?
Oh, hi, darling. Yes, I'm really pleased that you invited me to this show. I thought it was really productive and it was an honor to be here with Kate and AsrIa and yourself. So thank you so much. And I do look forward to the next episode where we give a lot more details as to how to really, really protect. You can find me on my website, peytonlyonsgray.com, where, you can see my services there. But just to mention a couple, I facilitate trauma release, as well as similarly to Kate, removing attachments and closing portals, and also soul contract revocations. And a few other things are on there as well. So if anything strikes a chord with you, you can tap myself or Kate or AsrIa, and we'll be happy to help you.
Beautiful, beautiful. And of course, I will put all the information that I have on all of these three lovely and talented, strong, spiritual light workers in the description of the show. And last but not least, my soul sister, AsrIa. Tell us any last words. What services do you provide and how can anyone get in touch with you?
I'll say, thank you so much for this program. And I cannot wait for the next one. Sharing the screen with Peyton and Kate and yourself has been absolutely fantastic. And so with me, my website is Ascension Through Connection, but it's really about the individual and your multidimensionality, really, is looking at what is happening in those different energy fields, having a look at those connections, excuse me, working with the guides that are around you. So everything from said psychic readings to chakra balancing to more energetic work around multidimensional healing as well. So what's going on in each of those bodies, as well as those chakras, for example, like the ones Peyton was mentioning earlier, because we do have more than 7, and we're finding out more and more each and every single day. So yeah, it's Ascension through connection, and I can't wait to share the screen with you ladies again. And thank you, Dee.
Well, I just want to say that I am honored. It is an honor and privilege to have you as friends, as soul sisters, and share the screen with you. Thank you all so much. I want to say to everyone that's watching now or that's going to watch in the replay, and I'm going to get a little emotional. I cannot tell you how these 3 women on the screen have helped me tremendously. They have literally saved my life. So I can't tell you enough, and I can't express enough. If you are having issues and if you feel called to get in touch with any of these women, do it. They are light workers. They are powerful. They're the real deals. They have nothing but light and love, and they're here for a reason. And I know without a doubt that the 4 of us came together, and we are powerhouses. And we came together for a reason. And like I said, individually, these women are light workers, and they are talent, and they are the real deal. Peyton, Kate, AsrIa, thank you so much. Thank you for what you've done for me personal. Thank you for your friendship, your love and support. And on a broader note, thank you for what you've done to the community. I know that you all have sacrificed and have gone through trials in your own personal attacks to be a light worker, to work for God, and to be here. So thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Lady D. Thank you for being the voice of truth, a really bold voice that really loves people. You have such a big heart for people and a heart for God, and I love that. And thank you. I honor that. It's not an
Thank you.
easy
It's my
position to be a public figure all the time. So I'm more shy than you are. You know what I mean? I'm kind of an introvert and you're not, thank goodness. So thank you.
well, it's my big loud voice that gets me into trouble, and that's why I need you 3.
Oh, Lady D, it was my pleasure. It was my pleasure to work and to help you alongside Kate and AsrIa. So I'm so pleased to see you shine, and you know, you have a talent, you have a voice. You are the voice of this movement, really, because you're so outspoken. You're kind of speaking for most of us who don't have channels and aren't really as brave as you are to put ourselves forward. So we are honored here to be with you, and also we will support you, defend you, protect you, guide you at any chance that we get.
Well said. Agree.
I love
Very,
you all
very,
so much.
very,
And my
very well
channel,
said. Yeah, you're
thank you so much.
an amazing light yourself, sweetheart. And yeah, as I said, just being a part of this is amazing. As you said, being the voice. So Kate and Peyton said it the most, but lots of love, because you are an amazing person.
Thank you so much. I love you. I love you, ladies. Well, I know it's technically my channel, but my channel is your channel, and you're going to be seeing a lot of these 3 lovely ladies. So until next time, I want to wish you all a fabulous rest of your night, your day, depending on you where you are in the world. Yeah, it's pretty much night, and we love you all. And please reach out to these women if you resonate with them, if you feel the need. And until next time, don't give up, don't give in. You are wonderful, you are beautiful, you're here for a reason. And God bless you all. And what a time to be alive. We are going to take back this world. We're going to defeat the dark, and we're going to be living the way we should be living. And until next time, goodbye, everyone.
Bye.